All right, hello, hello. Shout out Kiki, knocking the microphone. I have a different cat in my lap right now. You might be able to hear her if I would shut up every now and then, but today we are playing Sudoku once more. We'll be doing another medium puzzle after our triumphant victory over the difficult puzzle yesterday. Anyways, for ones, we have that one will be here since it is covered here, 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 and here. So with that information, we just really that's about all we can do. We know that's right. Could be potentially one of those, one of these, and some of these. But we will start solving the other numbers, and then we will figure it out from there. We know that two has to be there or there. Yes, ma'am, Kiki, good girl. Um, but we're doing well. Hope everyone else is doing well, and I have been enjoying coming back to content creation because it just feels so um, freeing a bit, if that makes any sense. Like I'm putting my energy somewhere instead of just brain rotting all day or doing anything or doing at least something that it could be seen as productive and can be a transferable skill in the world. Which could be entertaining, which you're hard, not that entertaining anyway. But we know that'll be a 5, which means that'll be the 5. Then that's really all we can do with the 5s right now, and that's okay. But yeah, it feels genuinely nice to be able to just find something that I enjoy doing first and foremost. So we actually know that 6 has to be up there, so this will have to be the 6, which means that 6 has to be there. And that is really all we can do right now with the 6s. But going back to what I was saying, I have been enjoying the little time that I do spend making these little videos, whether it is or whether it was in Super Auto Pets or whether it was in Sudoku, and just doing some random stuff to make myself laugh and potentially make other people's laugh. And I think that's the main point behind it all, is just to express yourself in a I won't say productive way, but express yourself in a what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, it's not creative, but it's more so a positive than it is anything else. You know, it's just a way to work on something and slowly and hopefully get better at it. We know 8 has to be there and there. And because we know 8 has to be in this column, we know 8 has to be over here, which means 8 has to be there. And then 6 and 8 are twin numbers, which means they will be together in that little column, which means it has to be one or the other, yada, yada, yada. And with that quick math, we could actually fill this out real quick, which I think we will, instead of just letting it lie. So we know that'll be a 9. Oh, I kept hitting 0. Oops. And because we know that's a 9, we know this will be the 2 because we know these are both 6 and 8. But we can go back to our 8s to see. We know that 8 has to be right here or here, which means that this has to be the 8, which means it's the 6, which means that's a 6 and that's a 6. We're solving 6s around here. So we are doing fantastic. Not really many potential 9s here. Oops. Not really many potential 9s to be solved at this point. But that is okay. Well, we know this one is. We know that's a 9, and that'll be a 7. Which means 7 is there and there. And then not much else. Not much else. But that's okay. And then we can just look in here, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Could be a potential 5. And then a 7. Right there or there. So we can go back through 1 through 9, which means 9 is right there. And 1 has to be there since we know 1 has to be over in this column. And continuing on through the puzzle, we know that one of these two has to be a 1. We know this would be 2 as one of the values, then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9 has to be the other one. Technically 9 could be in this square too, so I'll go ahead and mark it down. And then this has to be a 1 or a 9. What's the other number? 1, 2, 9, and 6, which has to be this number. Which means that this will have to be a 6, which means we have solved all of our 6s. Lastly, or next, rather, we know that 1s are here. Don't really have many identifying factors at this time, or so maybe it's just unseen to me. We do know that 2 has to be up here, right? Yeah, 2 has to be up here. Which means 2 has to be here. Because 1, or it has to be a 1 or a 9 down here, since there's a 2 over here. And there's a 2 over here, so it can't even be over here. But besides the point, I mean, right now it would be a 2 or a 9, technically. But we can say that 2 has to be up. Since 2 has to be up here, since it can't be down here, this means... oh, well, it could be a 2 or a 9 right there. We just know 2's right here. Because we don't have the 2 over there. I just went on a whole circle for nothing. Oops. We have all of our 3's and 4's, so let's move on to our 5's. We know 5 has to be one of these, and then one of these, which means we know 5 will be in the middle of this section. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then a 9. Yep, that's an 8. Oops. We know that that'll be 5 and 9, and the other will be 2 and 7. And if we're just going to go ahead and fill this in, what else are we missing? 1, 2's, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9's, which means that 9 could be there or there. But we are slowly but steadily filling everything in. We can look at this top row up here. Well, excuse me. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. And this has to be a 9. Oh, excuse me. This has to be a 9 or a 9. And having these right here is kind of unfortunate because, you know, we're trying to solve things in 2 different areas, but we can try to figure it out anyway. We know 5 has to be there, 5 has to be there, and then, or 7 rather, and then we know 7 has to be one of these in the middle. So, we will go to our 8s. We know that 8 has to be in this last one, and 8 has to be right here, so they're all right here. And then our 9's. Our 9's. It's funny how I can breeze through a hard puzzle and then have difficulties with oh, this can't be 9. Because 9 is 5 and 9 are here. So this has to be 9. And because of that, this has to be 5, which means this has to be a 9, 2. I was right, and I didn't even know. I was right, but did not have the full information to prove I was right at the time. Wait, hold up. This could be a 1 or a 9 still. Oh, no, it can't be. There's a 9 up here. Silly goose. Okay. And then there's a 1 here. So we know what we are doing. This could technically be a 2 still, right? Yeah. Yes. No, it's a 7. That'll be the 2. This will be the 8. This will be the 9. This will be the 1. We will have, we have 5, 7, and 9. So we have 7, 9. So that has to be the 5. We have a 9, 7, 5, and 7. Not bad. Pretty low. Almost 10 minutes on the dot right there. Anyways, hope that you have enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, and or subscribe if you have made it this far. And I will catch you for day 9. Goodbye.